So we're here today talking with Dean Wiers-Windemuller about his guitar teaching for FindaGuitarTeacher.com. Dean, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Let's start by just finding out where you are. What state and what city do you teach in?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Great. And
Yeah.
what do you find the guitar teaching climate is like there? Do you find a lot of people want to learn to play guitar in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, I would. I guess I don't know, but I would assume that's true everywhere. There are
Hmm.
there are a lot of people around here. We teach students from about age 5 or 6 up to I had an 80-year-old student this past year. So really runs the gamut of age ranges, and I'd say there is a lot of interest
That's
in
great.
this time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never too late to get started, right?
No, absolutely not.
And what do you find the ratio is of children to adults? Do you find you teach more children or more adults or about half and half?
Yeah, I find it's about half and half.
Hmm.
Usually, I think people's perceptions are that I probably teach more kids than adults, but it's pretty split right down the middle, I would say.
Hmm. Makes sense. And can you describe for us in simple terms what your teaching approach is? What do you like to focus on with students?
Sure, yeah. I kind of take a two-part approach to teaching, Dan. I
Hmm.
like to go through some type of method book, usually like a Hal Leonard or Alfred method book to teach note reading, assuming that's still a challenge for the student.
Hmm.
So we spend about half the lesson going through some kind of ground-up approach, methodical book like that, and then the other half of the lesson is just spent learning songs that the student wants to learn. So
Hmm.
whether they're into country music or want to learn songs from their church or rock, whatever it may be, I really place a strong emphasis on going with the students' interests and playing what sparks their creativity and what inspires them.
Makes sense. You got to have fun when you're doing it.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
that's great. And can you tell us about your fees and your scheduling options? How do you generally
Sure.
schedule your lessons?
Yeah. Well, I teach at a retail store that I own called Southtown Guitar, and we're open Tuesday through Saturday. Plenty of scheduling availability, both daytime and evening hours. Between those days, we're closed Sundays and Mondays. And the fee is $22 per half hour or $44 for an hour. And you can book as many or as few lessons at a time as you want.
Mhm.
And you have the opportunity to reschedule any lesson up until the start time of your lesson. So there's plenty of flexibility built in as well.
Understood. That's great. And I notice quite a few guitars that you have there, a bass behind you, and possibly an organ. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about your equipment, that you use to teach and or whatever you'd like to show us there?
Sure, absolutely. So we do teach guitar, but also piano, bass, and drums here at
Hmm.
the store, and teach both acoustic and electric guitar. Right now, I'm holding one of the guitars that we sell here, which is an Alvarez MG75 SCE. It's a cedar top guitar with a beautiful satin finish. I'm not sure how much you can see there.
Hmm.
And then I've got my personal Jazz Master with the purple sparkle finish.
Very nice.
Love that finish on that guitar.
Yeah.
And a Fender Jazz bass behind me, and we've got a couple of Hammond organs here in the studio, as well as a Siler grand piano and an 88 key Fender Rhodes vintage keyboard from the 70s. So
Wow.
we've got a lot of fun vintage equipment that we have a lot of fun and make a lot of noise on.
And I imagine that you are more than willing and prepared to advise students about their own equipment choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Do
Yep,
you
a
do you
lot of
find that comes up a lot with students?
yeah, especially a lot of people who first come in wonder if their guitar is suitable for them, or we also do repairs, so we help troubleshoot maintenance issues, and I'll teach students about maintenance issues with their instruments. So we absolutely offer guidance on equipment choices and equipment needs and maintenance issues.
That's great. Cool.
Yeah.
And so, Dean, can you show us an example of your own playing, something that you'd like to do or something that you'd like to show your students?
Sure. Yeah. I'm just going to play the instrumental part to Blackbird by the Beatles. I'm a huge Beatles fan, and Blackbird is a great song because it it incorporates some chord shapes, but also some melodic things that are happening on the guitar at the same time. It's a challenge for both the right hand and the left hand, and it's a song I've taught a lot of students. So here it
That's
goes.
great. We'd love to hear it. That was beautiful, Dean.
Thank you.
That was really cool.
Just for the purposes of this interview, I just wanted to highlight some of the guitaristic things about the song, but I do really encourage my students to sing along with the songs if they're comfortable doing so. They certainly have to. But guitar is such a great instrument because it's so perfect for singing along with. So I do sing along with the songs, and I encourage my students to do that, and I help walk them through that process as well.
Makes perfect sense. Singing is probably one of the most underrated tools you have as a guitar player. It helps the whole process.
Okay, yeah. One other thing about my
please,
just what I just played here, I think everybody will notice that I flubbed a note, and I think that's important to know that. Also, my philosophy as a teacher is that we're all going to make mistakes, and my goal is to create a safe environment for students to explore, experiment, and make mistakes because nobody's perfect. I as a teacher am not perfect, and the point isn't perfection. The point is joy and just enjoying music. And I think that I've made music in a lot of different situations, and some feel more comfortable than others. But I think I've had the most fun, and I make the best music when I'm totally comfortable to make mistakes, and I try to provide that sort of environment for my students as well.
That makes perfect sense, Dean, and I think what you just said is tremendous evidence of how anyone would be lucky to have you as a teacher.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
So it's been great to talk to you and hear about your teaching, and we wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you on Find a Guitar Teacher in the future.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye. You too.